We started with 48 dissertations, and each of the 4 judges pointed out the dissertations that they thought were the best. Interestingly, there were already a lot of common views on that.
And although it became clear that people had very different views about architecture and the nature of theory, it's very strange how close together they are when they're considering the actual quality of an individual piece of work.
We had no contact with each other before today, but almost across the board there was agreement about which dissertations should be considered.
At the end, the ones which were really successful did rise up and sort of made themselves apparent to us. In fact, quite quickly. I think we came to a consensus pretty quickly as well.
I was very pleased to see a broad range of subjects, but if there is a trend that I would pick out is a kind of social consciousness.
At the very least, there were 2 strands, one being a sort of social science strand and the other being a much more speculative, or let's say theoretical strand, as we generally talk about it from within architecture.
All the work that we saw, without exception, showed a very serious commitment to reading, researching, and writing.
The ones that were really good were actually better than I expected. So I was quite impressed with the standard of work at the highest end.
I think the dissertation that was awarded the medal this year did an excellent job of bridging a very thorough historical account with a very scholarly attitude to a very contemporary situation, raising relevant questions about practice now and about the urban space today.
It seemed to me it was almost kind of self-awarding in terms of being the best dissertation. It was obviously based on a deep and real, passionate personal interest, but which had been put in the context of a kind of very scholarly explanation and analysis.
As I reflected on it over and over again, I started to feel that there was something quite unique about the dissertation in its ability to deal with issues, perhaps I could say from a sociological perspective, without losing a sense of the architectural dimension.
It's firmly and confidently rooted in a very deep sense of research. And then on top of that, the student had the gift of being able to communicate that to us in writing. The fact that the RIBA does acknowledge student work at such a high level and distinguishes it is worth so much to a student. And I think sometimes students forget they're working in a vacuum in their schools, and they might be aware of the wider world, but they certainly aren't always aware of how the wider world perceives the work that they're producing.
I think the RIBA's commitment to continue awarding the dissertation medal is commendable, to say the least, because it emphasizes the extent to which architecture and architectural practice is not just about design, but about the broader context of thinking about architectural issues.